Welcome, guys, to the I Love Wrestling podcast. I'm your host, as always, Justin Woolwine, and today we are welcomed with professional photographer, Mr. Ricky Flores. How we doing, man?
Hey man, I'm doing great. Thank you for the intro. Thank you for the interview too.
Of course, I know off camera we talked about this being your first ever interview, which I'm going to be honest with your work and how much you get out there. I'm very surprised. Are you nervous? You excited? What you thinking?
No, I'm definitely nervous. Like I said, not like I obviously I'm not a wrestler or whatever, so I don't expect to get asked to do this type of stuff. I always wanted to be on a podcast interview. It's just I love podcasts. I listen to a bunch of podcasts when I'm not listening to music or whatever. But this is I wanted to say thank you so much for this. This is awesome. This is awesome. This is really awesome.
Absolutely. I've we was talking off camera. I've seen you, for like the last year at Chicago style wrestling events. We actually met each other at the Squared Circle Expo in Indiana,
Hmm.
and that's where we had kind of like the first conversation. And I've been meaning to get a hold of you since what was that, April? And I just now decided to pull to get in the DMs and say, "Hey man, you want to do this?" I'm glad you responded so quickly. So thank
Oh
you.
man, no. As soon as I read your message, I said, dude, let's fucking do this. Oh wait, hold on. Can I
You're
curse?
good.
Like, okay,
Anything you want to say, you're
okay,
good.
okay. Well, yeah, no. I was like, yeah, let's fucking do this, bro. Because I like I said, I love podcasts. I love interviews. I just always wanted to be on one. So again, thank you again.
But before we dive into the chat and get everybody all riled up with our stories and stuff, you want to plug your social medias, maybe even upcoming events that you're going to be a part of, things like that.
Yeah, so you guys could just follow me on Instagram. I only have Instagram
Okay.
at infamous dot photos. It's literally the word infamous and then a period and then photos. Or you could also follow my other page, which is dedicated to wrestling media for the most part. The crew shot it. It's actually the dot crew dot shot dot it.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I got that right. Sorry, sometimes I forget, but that's just a media page that me and three other amazing videographers slash photographers we're a group of four. And we just try to capture content just for pro wrestlers.
It's kind of like the four horsemen of photography and videography, huh?
Yeah, yeah. We had thrown that as a name idea before, just like, but we're like, that sounds so cliche. But the crew, as the letters in the crew actually stand for something. I'm the one that came up with the name
Okay.
because when we formed this group, it literally took me no more than 15 minutes to come up with the name. Because at first we were just in a group chat on iMessage. We had no names. They're like, well, let's think of names. The first one that came to mind was called The Crew. Because I want us to be known as The Crew, like that crew who just does amazing work with all these wrestlers with big names or little names, whatever. But the letters actually in crew stand for cinema, ringside, entertainment, and wrestling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That
And
works.
I
It's perfect.
It's perfect. We just loved it off the rip. I forget who's the one that came up with the logo. It's either between my friend JC or my other talented friend Arnley, or was it Martin? I can't remember. It was one of them. It wasn't me. But the logo came up. We just tweaked it a little bit from the original design. Um, that's our logo right there, plastered on our profile picture.
It gives me a like a Run DMC vibe.
Oh, I love that.
Is-
I didn't even think of that.
You didn't think
We
of it?
said no because we thought, damn, we kind of look like a rip-off logo of the Bloodline.
Okay, okay,
But,
a little bit.
but
You
I
know what's
like
even
that. I
funnier?
like that.
You all kind of look related too. Like every single one of you could come from the same
Well,
family.
that's funny because three of us are Mexican and Arnley's Filipino.
That's amazing.
But they say like I got Filipino friends. They be saying like Filipinos are like the Hispanic of Asians. I don't know, but I've
It
been
makes
told
sense.
that numerous times. So he's an honorary Mexican for all I care.
So jumping back to the Four Horsemen theme,
Mm.
if we're looking at the realm of the Horsemen, who are you? In as far as the crew's Four Horsemen, which member are you?
Honestly, and I don't like sounding like I have an ego, but I would say I'm Ric Flair.
Okay,
More so because I think as much as introverted as I am, I know how to flip the switch and then just like talk that talk
okay,
and then like hype ourselves up because I truly believe us four, like at the very end of the day, I feel like we're the best to offer because as far as my work goes, I'm good at photography. I know I'm really great at photography. It's my forte. I could do videography too. I always like to bring out like that superstar look within wrestlers when it comes to my photos. When it comes to Martin, I feel like he's who's also known as freaking I'm gonna butcher it too. Wrestling with unicorns. There you go. Sorry,
yep,
because I always forget
you're
if he
good.
has like an underscore. Some of them, but Martin, he's always traveling, and he's just the one who's pumping out the most content between the four of us. I feel like he is definitely the workhorse of the group for sure. And that's not to undermine any one of us, but he's definitely the one who's out there traveling from state to state, getting some of the best highlight clips of that's going on. He has a really great viral video clip of Chris Van Vliet delivering
The rock bottom.
the rock bottom, and that went uber viral. I had to pin it onto our media page immediately, and that has so many views. Um, when it comes to sorry, I'm drinking this Pepsi. I really shouldn't be because I'm gonna be burping a little bit.
I'm drinking the same thing, so we're good.
Hey, cheers, brother, cheers.
Cheers. Here we go.
But when it comes to Arnley, honestly, we were blessed with his presence, especially in our group, because he is the sickest videographer I've met. And I've been around just a lot of videographers like for a long time too. And but he's one that has like a specific taste because he definitely has like an eye for things. The way I would describe his videos are definitely like almost aggressive, but also like below key. Because the tone in his videos definitely highlight how raw these wrestlers get, especially when they're all the actions in the ring. But when he also does work with like out when we do work outside the ring, like vignettes and all that stuff, boy, that boy knows how to turn on a switch in his brain. That creativity is wild.
He really does.
He's a great storyteller. That's what it is. He's a very great visual storyteller. It's like you can't just watch it once. You got to watch his videos a couple more times just to digest what did I just watch. That's how I view Arnold. And then when it comes to JC, man, first of all, if ever you're a person to call whenever you need help, and I don't even just mean like work wise on photos, but also like on a personal level too. He is like definitely like your back, like a backbone that you could just count on. His work has been great. I love like how sometimes his photos are very contrasty in a way. It's hard for me to describe. I don't want to like put a label to his stuff. I feel like he should be able to say it for himself. But I love it, especially when he's doing like candid shots of these wrestlers like getting ready in their gear. He knows when to capture the moment of them just getting in that mode. I've seen him take photos of wrestlers just putting on their boots, stretching, looking behind the curtain. He knows how to get those candid moments. And again, he's just got an eye for it that I don't think I have. I know I could get it sometimes, but he could get it all the time. Um, but as far as like what we bring to the table, we like to bring professional product. We like to bring fun. We like to bring creativity. We want to get to a level where honestly the production level is, I mean, shoot high, brother. in my opinion, production level as high as WWE one day. I mean, we've all seen like their vignette promo packages and all that, how they could just easily and like easily come up with a package, a video package or whatever wrestler, you know. Uh, and to me, I just want to be on a level where we're just delivering high value product to all the wrestlers that we work with, no matter what the name is, to be honest with you. Because we don't, it doesn't matter to us if you're a big name or if you're just starting. We just want to make any guy or girl just look like stars.
With that said, a couple videos come to mind immediately. I believe Arnley shot uh, the video or vignette for Axel Rico, where he has the Galley Championship, and they're out by the water, and it's just such a cinematic. That's WWE level cinema, if you want me to be honest. Like, it reminded
Mhm.
me of something kind of like the vignettes they did for Gable, where he went to Mexico and he was looking for them. It kind of
There you
reminded me
go.
of something
See,
like that. And then even
uh,
the recent Blair Onyx one you was a part of. It's now her entrance. Um, that
yeah,
stuff is interesting and equally as cinematic. And I'd put it up there with the. Obviously, nothing's going to be production level of WWE because it's a multi-million-dollar corporation. But you guys are putting out a very similar product at y'all's level, which is very impressive.
hey man. To me, first of all, you mentioned the Axel Rico video that he did. That one
It's my
surprised
favorite.
us. Oh man, it was good. It was good, especially drone shots. One day I'm gonna have a drone, and one day I'm gonna do similar stuff for sure. But I was caught off guard. We were all caught off guard with that one. But wow, yeah, no, that one I was looking at that video like hundreds of times because yeah, he did close-up shots. Really, it's like, how do I say this? He's so tuned in with all the things on like this checklist. You got to get the close-up shot, the wide shot, the drone shot. It's the way he just is able to do this effortlessly. Sorry, I can't talk.
You're good.
But the way he can just do it, no problem. And to see it firsthand too, especially when we work with the Blair Onyx video, which I will get into that in a sec. But to see it firsthand inspired me. So we're like, I'm gonna give a little insight right here. I am gonna work on a video project of my own, so stay tuned for that.
Okay.
Um, so it's gonna be a comedy actually because yeah, I just feel like we need a laugh out here. You know what I'm
Of
saying?
course.
Yeah, yeah. We can get into that a little bit too. But the Blair Onyx video was it came up from an idea. Okay, so what happened was I've always wanted to work with Blair. I think she's one of the most talented ones out here in the Chicagoland area, out in the Midwest. I do believe she's gonna go somewhere one day for sure. Um, the way it came about, I've always wanted to work with her. So I sent her a message. Well, before that, I sent a message to Arnley. I'm like, hey, bro, let's do something with Blair Onyx. And he goes, hell yeah, let's do it. So I'm like, okay, but I'm gonna send her a message. But I didn't know what we were gonna do, to be honest. So I just sent a message to Blair saying like, oh, like, hey Blair, like me and Arlen want to work with you and do like some video package or whatever you want to do based on like your persona and all that stuff, like your character. Like, would you be down? And she was so down. So she was like, so what are we gonna do? Honestly, I left the creativity more to her because I don't want to. Me personally, I don't want to like fuck up the character
Yeah.
because maybe I don't know how to portray the character right, but I know how to help shine a light onto that character, if that makes
Definitely.
sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
So Flair wanted to do another like video-esque short film, just like how she did last year. And we were just down for it because as long as it relates to her character, as long as it relates to her like just wrestling in general, then in all honesty, then let's do it. As long as it related to her and her wrestling, then that's all that mattered to us. So she came up with the idea. Um, she came up with the story, I should say. So she sends the script, and I
Okay.
know me and him had saw it at the same time or whatever, like on our phones. And I already knew as soon as I saw the script how it was gonna go. I said, I already know that Arnley's gonna kill it on the vision. I already know he sees it because that the kind of spooky stuff or whatever is kind of up his alley. I'm not so much of a spooky person myself, to be honest. Uh, that's just me. But I do appreciate it when done right. But other than that, when we got to the video, um, all I know is that she had two people from freelance wrestling, one being Davina Thorne and the other being Trent. Um, and what's it called? What's it called? I had brought one of my close friends from work. He's like my best friend. He doesn't watch wrestling at all, but he does know that I'm a wrestling fan. And he just did it honestly because we're just close like that. Um,
Nice.
who is who's Chris? That's the guy in the film. The My friend who was in the car with me who just left me to die in the film. Which, by the way, when we dropped that short film, people were in my DMs saying, "Oh, so you died? You're dead?" And I'm like, "Yeah, obviously." But the funny part was, is like when I started show after that, and like in CSW, some fans came up to me and were like, "Bro, aren't you dead?" And I'm like, "Okay, I get it, haha, hilarious." Um, but in all honesty, I was very happy with how it came out. Not gonna be an actor because of it, for that's for sure. But definitely was so much fun. It lit a fire under my ass for sure, as far as creativity goes, because I didn't realize how fun this could be. Like even just shooting short film, definitely made me want to do something on my own. And like I said, I am gonna work real soon on one myself. It's gonna be a comedy. Um, I don't want to give too much out. I will
Okay.
say that it does involve when non-wrestling fans say it's fake.
Okay. That'll be
Okay,
interesting.
it's interesting, but I and the people that I talked to who are gonna be a part of this film, they at first when I told them, they were like, "Excuse me," and and I'm like, and then when I told them the plot of it, they said, "That's really smart. I like that." And I just want to bring some type of laughter, because in a world where there's just so much shit going on, I just want people to smile at the end of the day. Just want people to be happy, have a little laugh. We're all here for one time. Let's just enjoy life.
Exactly. I love it. Um, to dive into wrestling, when did you find wrestling? Like, what was your earliest memory? Is it something you watched as a kid?
Yes. And
Okay.
I specifically, since this is my first podcast interview, I did something special. I had to go dig up something because it goes to my wrestling origin. So, growing up, I grew up in like a very shady area
Okay.
here in Chicago, and we were poor. We just didn't have shit. We didn't have cable as kids. I'll put it like I don't want to make it seem like we were on the streets or whatever, but like my parents knew they didn't want us to, be involved in just like some activities we shouldn't be involved in.
Gotcha.
So they would get us something like a Nintendo 64 or a Game Boy Color. They just wanted to make sure that we were entertained. We can't afford stuff, but they at least got me something that they thought on someone who's like 3 or 4 years old would like or whatever, right? And like I said, I didn't have much growing up, and I didn't have like cable TV and all that stuff. So I never saw wrestling, like televised wrestling first. The way I got introduced to wrestling was by a video game.
Okay.
At that time, I had a Nintendo 64. Still do. I have two Nintendo 64s still up and working right now as we speak. And the first taste of wrestling that I got, hold on, oh, almost fell, was a copy of this.
Is that No Mercy?
Yes,
Badass.
WWF. No Mercy. I, as a little boy, thought this was the people in here were strictly video game characters. I spent so many hours ladder matches, hitting people with kendo sticks, whatever you name it. I played this game so much that I fell in love with wrestling. But again, I didn't know professional wrestling was a sport that was televised or whatever, or it was just out there. I thought it was just a concept of a video game. So I was like playing like Stone Cold Steve Austin, thinking he's just a video game character, not knowing he's an actual person. And then my parents thought I loved wrestling so much they got me a copy of this.
Okay, NWO Revenge.
Yep.
That's a badass game.
Unfortunately, I don't have too much on this because as a kid, I did unfortunately fuck this cartridge up a little bit. So
Okay.
it kind of, I can only, if my memory serves me correct, I can only get through one match before then it just glitches out.
Okay.
And that's it. I don't even know. I haven't touched that since. But this game right here, No Mercy, man, still works till this day.
That's badass.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, as a fan of video games, I always thought Revenge was better than No Mercy. I don't know
Really?
why. Um,
I, you know what? And fair enough.
No
I can see
Mercy
why.
is great, but I liked Revenge better.
You know what? Hey, there's no wrong answer. I thought they were both great. I did get to play, what's called Revenge a lot more because a cousin of mine had a copy and I actually got to experience the game fully.
Okay.
But I No Mercy is number one for me. It's got a real soft spot in me. So does Revenge, but No Mercy has a real soft spot for me. The amount of hours I play and then customize my own character, I was like, brother, what? Some of the characters I would play, like for sure, like some of the wrestlers I would play for sure. I was a bit like, oh, before I even saw televised wrestling. Still, this is before I watched televised wrestling. I was really big into playing with Kane because I really loved the mask and all that stuff. I
Okay.
thought he looked cool, and I think it's because, and I maybe it's because I like Jason from the Friday the 13th movies. But I thought Kane was one of the coolest characters in the game. I did play a lot of Stone Cold Steve Austin, like a lot. I would play a good amount of Rock.
Okay.
Definitely Eddie Guerrero. Definitely Eddie Guerrero.
Makes sense.
Uh, and Triple H for sure.
Okay. I can't remember. Was he the game in that one, or was it still DX Triple H?
I do believe it was the game.
Okay. I can't
It,
remember off the top of my head. It came out
I
in like
did,
'99, didn't it?
it was a while for sure.
Okay.
So then you fast forward a little bit. My dad gets a really good job. Just let me know because it does do that. All I have to do is disconnect and reconnect.
You're
Um,
good, man.
what did you hear?
I heard my dad had got a really good job, and then it
Okay,
buzzed.
okay. So my dad got a really good job, like I said, and we finally got cable. I'm flipping through the channels. This is when I first started to experience like Cartoon Network and all that stuff. Instead of watching like like because I grew up on Elmo and all that stuff like before the cable and all that. And still did, obviously, for a while because I didn't get rid of that. But late at night, I just had the curiosity of like, well, what's through the other channels? It's more than just cartoons, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget. I'm flipping through the channel, and I accidentally stumbled across. I can't remember. This is the part where I hate because I can't remember if I was watching a Raw or a SmackDown. I do
Okay.
believe it. I do believe it was a Raw. I do believe I did catch Raw, and I saw Stone Cold Steve Austin, and immediately my head goes,
Wait a minute.
right. I'm connecting the dots a little bit. I'm a kid. I was stupid or whatever. I didn't really get it because I'm like, wait, I thought he was a video, and I'm trying to tell my dad like I don't get it. I thought he was a video game character or whatever. My dad explains to me like, no, that's a real person. Your video game came from these people. Oh, like, oh, so the video game's not first or whatever, and no, and that's when I started to watch it a little bit. Kept watching as much as I could because my parents were strict on the time of me getting to bed or whatever. But sometimes they would allow me to stay up late or whatever just to watch a bit of wrestling. Um, and very quickly, I fell in love with just watching wrestling because I couldn't get it out of my head. At first, like I said, I viewed them first as a video game character, but these guys are real. I want to see more. And the more I kept seeing, the more I started to develop who's like some of my favorites and who I can confirm were. For sure, I'm a Stone Cold Steve Austin guy. Like, for sure. If I gotta be honest, Stone Cold over The Rock. That's
Okay.
me. That's me personally. I do appreciate Rock for sure. I do love Rock. Well, old Rock for sure.
You're not a
But
fan of New Rock?
I love it. I love it. Don't get me wrong. But if
Okay.
I gotta say which version of The Rock was the best, old Rock. Old Rock was
Okay.
better.
I think $5,000 T-shirt Rock is the best.
No, I love it. No, I do like the attitude, but I'm not gonna say negative things, but I will say like I do appreciate older Rock for sure,
Okay.
especially when he used to come out and just cut promos and just make fun of everybody. It was hilarious to me
It
as a
was the
kid.
best stuff.
I just can't forget when he said, "What was it? Was it who was he talking to?" One of my favorite promos of all time was the one where he is talking to the NWO and
Okay.
he gets to Razor Ramon and he's like, "What did you say, Chico?" Because his mannerism, I think he was the best, like at making facial expression back then.
Yep.
Um, but
Making fun of
Stone
the Big
Cold,
Show was like like the funniest shit ever.
that
Like when
was
he made fun
hilarious.
of the, I loved it.
That was hilarious. But Stone Cold, man, I just thought he was the coolest ever. From how he just like didn't give a damn and just was like, "Shut up and let's fight." I thought that was so cool. For a while though, it did get into like where my mom would just say like we she did not allow a little bit of wrestling because if he came on TV, no.
You knew hell was going to be raised.
Hell was gonna be loose.
I liked Austin's range because Austin could go from serious to funny to whooping ass to back to shaking hands and kissing babies. Like the Rock, I mean Austin. Sorry, Austin's range was very impressive
Yeah.
because you didn't know what you was gonna get. And he'd switch up in the middle of a promo. Like he'd be serious the whole time, and then next thing you know, he's making fun of somebody, and it's the funniest thing you've ever heard in your life.
I
And
I
then
I
reverts right back to whooping ass.
I couldn't agree anymore. Like that you summed it up perfectly. That's why I love Stone Cold Steve Austin. But I will say though, like growing up watching wrestling, I didn't watch as much of the Attitude Era for sure. I feel like I'm more of a product of the Ruthless Aggression era because that's when I started to have more time because I do believe around that time that's when I started to finish my homework early, get it done right so I could watch wrestling as much as I could. Like as soon as I started to do that, brother, I was hooked on more, especially during the Ruthless Aggression era. It's where I developed some of my more favorite wrestlers, like Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, John Cena, Batista, who I personally doesn't feel get talked enough nowadays.
No,
No,
I agree.
no, I feel we can't just talk about that part without even talking about Batista. Brother, he was destroying people.
Best look, I'll go on record to say he might have one of the best entrances of all time.
For sure, I wouldn't be mad with that either. When every time he came on, I used to do the machine gun
The
fight.
machine guns.
Yeah, it was all, and I do remember a little small part of me does remember when I was a kid, and it was just me and my cousins on the Fourth of July, and they were lighting up the firework. I just remember doing the machine gun thingy like Batista. It is it, but I love Batista. I really do. I'm a big Batista fan for sure. Um, if I had to say like that time period, I would argue, personally me, the ruthless aggression era it's a bit better than attitude era.
you know, I could agree. I also grew up like I was born in 2000, so I was raised on ruthless aggression. But I mean, based off work rate alone, I'd say the ruthless aggression era is better because it had the edginess of the attitude era toned down enough to where you could actually get some wrestling in there.
Yeah.
I think it was the best. And
I
then
yeah.
you got your SmackDown 6. I'm not going to name them all because I'm going to miss one and I'm going to mess it up. But like that era of SmackDown is the best. I think me and my dad actually just had a debate the other day. I think that's the best era of the Undertaker.
You know what? I wouldn't be mad with that either. To be
Because
honest,
like he
is
was good in the Attitude Era and he's good before the Attitude Era, like the early '90s. But
yeah,
like work rate wise, him versus Angle or him versus Brock or him versus Eddie,
Booker T and all
Edge,
that.
Booker T, like those are all worthy of 5-star matches, if you ask me.
No, I 100% agree. In my opinion, Ruthless Aggression era is better than Attitude Era. And that's not to say like Attitude Era is like down here or whatever. It's not.
Exactly.
We can't say that. Like we
Yeah.
all know it's up there. I just place Ruthless Aggression Era above it though.
But
Because I
like
mean, maybe it's biasy because of I watched that more, but I went back to watch more Attitude Era, and I would just think like, you know what, kid me would still think Ruthless Aggression Era would be better.
I'll be honest, like sometimes like I remember a couple years ago, like it was right before the network. When burning CDs and DVDs was still like a thing that people did.
Hmm.
I burnt the entire Attitude Era, and I
Oh
mean
my
like
god!
WCW and WWF, and me and my dad watched all of it. And I remember thinking as like a 13, 14, 15-year-old kid, like this just like, and I'm in my teenage years, so I should be thinking all these jokes and stuff are absolutely hilarious. But part of me was just like, maybe this is a little bit too juvenile and over the top. And like, where's my wrestling at? Because I was also like at that time just now learning about independent wrestling. And that's where your work rate increases because you're seeing your Brian Danielsons and your Tyler Blacks and Kenny Omegas. And I'm like, okay, so like if I could just get these characters doing these things, it'd be so much better. And then we got
Right,
that
right.
ruthless aggression.
No, and I just remember like watching Ruthless Aggression, thinking like this is like so cool. I think they had a good combination of attitude, action, comedy, drama, and really great storytelling. In my
Yes.
opinion, I truly do believe that. And I don't fault nobody for saying Attitude Era is the best era because it was a
No.
great era, undeniably. But I personally will always say Ruthless was above that. Um, but sorry, it's my neighbor just waving hi.
You're
But
good.
but no, like I said, for me, Ruthless Aggression era is the one I grew up on the most, and then it's well, grew up on that one, and also that's when we started to switch over to PG era, and I still love PG era. And obviously it has its moments. Like it is what it is. I just personally feel like and I view it in a positive light where it's like, you know what, they're trying something. They're trying
Yes.
something to be a little bit more broader, and it is what it is. But at the end of the day, personally, Ruthless was above all of them. It is though.
So if we're looking at things, you brought up Cena. Cena obviously height he started in the ruthless aggression era, battled all the way through the PG era, your authority era, all that stuff, and now he's retiring.
Yeah.
How have you felt about his retirement run so far? What have you liked? What do you think's missing? And what would you like to see maybe towards the end of it?
You know what? Like when he announced that he was gonna retire, we all knew it was getting to that time, right? Because he was already hinting at it in interviews. Um, when he announced it, I just said, "Man, let's just soak it all in." Because me personally, Cena is Superman to me. Um,
Right.
uh, some people don't, and I get why people wouldn't like him because of how corny his like how serious he takes things, or maybe like the hustle, loyalty, respect is just corny to them. Me personally, how can you not like the message? Because it's promoting positivity. It's promoting so like just like so much respect to just be an honest person. That's why I love Cena. Cena to me has brought one of the most joys to me growing up. Um, and like I said, I thought he was real life Superman too. But when you start watching how he acts, how he like kind of just like earns. I don't say he demands. He earns respect, especially when you see the videos of him, how he's actually like really polite in interviews, or when you see the videos of like fans like just coming up to him with the cameras out or whatever, but he like lets them know like in a polite way, like, hey, how about we ask first or whatever.
Yes.
Like in my opinion, he handles situations pretty well, and he's human at the end of the day. You can only handle so much, right? But I think he handles things very well, and I think he is a positive influence on so many people. How I feel about the retirement tour right now, sure, it's a mixed bag. Um, if I don't want to be too negative, I feel like the heel run was more like something like it's like, you know what, we got it. He tried. We
Yeah.
can't be mad because it's one of those what if we could just say it happened, and now we don't have to think about it no more. You know, but it does make Rey Mysterio one of the longest reigning baby faces of all time now
It
at this
does.
point. And if he ever does, at this point, I'm a little skeptical because of the whole Cena run. But just a little bit, because it is what it is. But uh, no, how I feel about it though, I feel like it's just something we tried, we got it. I appreciate it, I really do, especially because we got him versus Punk again. That that did something for me right there, because obviously I'm a big Punk guy too. Obviously, being from Chicago,
You gotta be.
it's you gotta be. It
It's
just
like
feels
ingrained in us.
it just feels wrong not to be right.
Exactly.
But um, well, we got him, and we got him versus Randy. I was blown because I'm watching this on like my HD TV and all this, but I just remember seeing this on like an old television or whatever when they with the big box in the behind it or whatever
Mhm.
before we started getting flat screens and all that.
Yep.
Nostalgia, man. And I saw like posts of like when they were youngers in their 20s and then flashed over to like now them in their late 40s and all that. It's insane that they're still doing it out to now, and I just feel like we should just appreciate it because it's gonna be done soon. And no matter if you like it or not, we got I feel like we're getting a proper like send off to a career, because some careers ended in casualties like injuries or unfortunately deaths and all that, which I feel like sucks because they didn't get to do their respectable goodbye. So if
Yeah.
we're witnessing one for sure, I mean, if you're a fan of Sting, we all saw like the goodbye to his career already, and I think that was really awesome too, how they treated him over there in AEW. So, and we don't get this type of stuff. Like I said, we don't get these type of send offs where it's like, let's enjoy these OGs while we still got them now on their last year, because we're not gonna get them next year. We're done. We're done watching them wrestle. They're gonna come back for sure on TV or whatever, but
Exactly.
we're done with the wrestling with them, and that to me does hit a little home because I'm like, ah man, I do remember seeing Cena live action once at a house show before. I was in the main event too against Roman Reigns.
There's no
And
mercy.
no, I
No.
this was a house show.
Okay.
It was a main event, and I just remember at the time I was like, dude, I'm gonna see John Cena to experience the whole crowd saying John Cena sucks or let's go
It's
Cena,
fun.
Cena sucks. It was jaw dropping because I'm like, oh my god, the energy. Because me personally, I love going to live events. No matter what sport, especially
Mhm.
like sports I don't care for. Like I'll go to a baseball game. I don't like watching it on TV. It
No.
does nothing for me. If I go watch it live, I feel the crowd.
It's
And
the
when you feel,
energy.
it's the energy. I love that. I love that. So when I got to experience like the "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks," brother, that was that was something I never could forget. It stuck in me forever. Um, but it is sad for me to just like know that I'm never gonna be able to see him wrestle again. But I mean, selfishly, obviously, I want to see him wrestle more and more.
Exactly.
But You gotta just. I'm the type of person who's like, let's just appreciate this man because we got him healthy, we got him happy, we got him ending it on his term. When do we ever get that? Like I said,
You
when do we
don't.
ever get that? And it's a beautiful thing for me. It's very inspiring too. A person with so much respect within the industry, no matter what walk of life it is, you know who John Cena is, and you know what he's all about.
I couldn't have summed it up better myself. Um, as far as photography goes, when did you decide that you wanted to be a photographer, and when did you decide that you wanted to try to capture wrestling?
So I've been a photographer since 2019.
Okay.
Um, when I started, there's a two version of the story as to how or why it started. The first version is like the more like the oh wow that's a good version. The other version is a more serious version. I don't mind talking about it if you don't mind me talking about
Go
it.
ahead.
Um, when I started, I had gotten a camera, a starter camera is what they call it, because there's like a list of cameras that are known as starter cameras for beginners or whatever. My parents
Okay.
had gotten me a Canon T6 Rebel series, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I was just taking photos of my friends or whatever, just like for fun. I didn't take it serious. I got that as a gift for Christmas, and but around that time is when I started um, getting very depressed. Very depressed. Was going through a hard time. I was in college, um, and I just remember like feeling very suicidal. And it was a very hard time in my life because God, I felt like I had no purpose. I really didn't. And I'm not trying to sound cliche or anybody's other sad story, but the truth is like I almost took it all away. Uh, it did suck. Like living sucked at that point in life because my grades were kind of fluctuating. I was always a smart kid. I was always good at school, but around that time in college, I just remember struggling a lot. And I wasn't even sure if I wanted to stick in college, to be honest. I did graduate. I did graduate. I got my bachelor's. But around that time, I didn't feel like I wanted to be in school more. Um, I didn't want to be in school. My job sucks. Uh, I don't know what I want to do in my life. Uh, I think this was around the time where I started having less friends when I was used to having my a good amount at the time like those friends that I had at the time, but those people started to move on with their life, whether they transferred to a different school, whether they graduated or dropped out and had a different life or whatever, right? I just felt stuck and I had always battled with depression, like I said. I battled with depression a lot. And I was dealing with a lot of like people's death at the time, like people who passed away around that time. I was losing people left and right. If I have to be honest, I have up to 15 people that I've lost at this point in time. Um, so I remember just wanting to take it all away, and I almost did, and but I didn't do it. There was something in me that said no, was not, and I'm not gonna say what I was gonna do because I don't want to put that in anybody's head. But at the time, there was a voice in me that said, no, let's not do that. Let's just go home. And I just kept taking photos of random things on my camera, trying to be artsy, trying to take photos of like portraitsy of a flower or whatever. And I'm like, let me call up a buddy of mine. Let me just take his photos for fun. And then I sent it to him. I'm like, here goes your photos or whatever. He's like, hey, these are pretty good. You mind if I upload them? I'm like, sure, go ahead. I don't care. Puts it on Instagram. He says that's gotten him at the time like a lot of like likes. He's like, bro, like this. People thought I was like a model or something. Keep doing this. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. And the more I kept doing it, like just for fun, I realized, yo, this is fun. Let me try to make something out of this. And that's when I tried to try to take it a little bit serious. Started doing taking whatever booking I can, taking photos of like people's children, um, couples, graduations, prom send offs, whatever you name it. And I still never thought about doing wrestling. To be honest, I didn't think about wrestling. Photography became a more recent thing
Okay.
because I started to shoot more fashion and modeling stuff because I love fashion and I love all that stuff. And music. I used to shoot a lot of hip hop. I used to do a lot of concerts too. Like as time progressed, I kept getting bookings to do rap concerts and all that. My most famous person I ever took photos for, and the first ever celebrity I took photos for, is DJ Khaled.
Ooh,
Now, in my rookie year too,
that's
mind you,
badass.
and that was in my rookie year. And this is what lit a bigger fire under my ass was I got to work for the NBA when they came to Chicago for a All Star Weekend, which is like a big basketball event. You know, I don't ask me, I'm not a basketball person like that, but it's a big deal. It's a big deal every time the NBA does it. And I got hired by them. I did like local concerts that they had going on for events. It's like a beautiful thing to experience that too, like the community coming together for the love of basketball, hip hop, and all that. Because again, me personally, I'm a big hip hop head. I appreciated every single one of this. Um, and that was within my rookie year. And I'm like, I just remember telling myself a year ago I was gonna end it all, and I stuck to it. And now I'm doing stuff I didn't think I could do. And within my rookie year, and this relates to wrestling. Within my rookie year, there was a meet and greet for one of my favorite wrestlers right now at the time, Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, when she was with the WWE. There was a meet and greet. I remember going to that meet and greet just to go take a photo with her. I took one of my coworkers who was also a big Sasha Banks fan at the time, and we were there waiting in line for like an hour and a half, just like to get to our to get to take a photo with her. I remember, well, first of all, she was so nice, so lovely to me.
She's a very genuine human
She's
being.
very genuine. I have nothing but good things to say about her within that little interaction I had, because I had chills going up my arms, and I stuttered my word, and she's like, "It's okay, it's okay, breathe." And we took a deep breath in, and she's like, "I was like, listen, can I get a hug?" And she's like, "Of course." First of all, she smells lovely. I don't know what perfume she has, but I could appreciate a good smell. You know what I'm saying? A good
Okay.
perfume. That I think perfumes are attractive on a person. So for sure. Um, but that's besides the point. I remember actually signing like the autograph photo. If you didn't bring something for her to autograph, they did give you like a free photo of her that she could just sign, and I got that because uh, I think at the time I had shrunk in my Sasha Banks T-shirt. I can't remember. I just remember I didn't have it no more. But um, I do remember actually signing it. She's like, "Do you have any questions or anything?" I was like, "Well, I just wanted to say I just became again. This is within my first year. I said I just became a photographer several months ago. I'm not professional by no means, but one day when I get professional, I'm gonna take your photos one day." And she says, "I can't wait until you do it." Fast forward now to me shooting pro wrestlers. I'm crazy enough to think I can do it.
No, definitely.
I just know that if I have the opportunity to work, and I've told some of the guys and girls that I've shot with in AEW that just to throw little hints, like, put in a
Monet.
word for me. I'm not asking for it, but just, wink, wink. But I I feel like I'm gonna get that message or call one day, and the day that happens, to me, that's gonna be my Cody Rhodes finish the story moment
It's
because
definitely full circle.
full circle. And when she joined AEW, I clenched my freaking fist and I said, "There's a shot. There's a shot," because I know people. Obviously, if you've seen my work, you know that I work with some AEW talents, and I just feel like I'm putting it out there, not just to the universe, but to whoever works in AEW too. Like, because I've been asked like, has there been anybody you've wanted to shoot in the company? And I said, I've explained like a short version of the story, but for sure I've wanted to work with Mercedes for the longest. It's my full circle moment. I could die happy with that one, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm very like passionate about what I do. And if I say I'm gonna shoot that person, best believe I'm gonna find a way. And Mercedes one day, if you see me randomly, just know I will take your photos one day professionally. I feel like I'm at that level where I could show off my work and just be like, let's do it. And
Probably. Most definitely. I'm gonna go out on a whim and say that could definitely happen. Especially if
yeah,
you show off some of your photography you've been able to do for a lot of the ladies on the independent circuit, even the
mm,
likes of like Sky Blue and things like that, who are in AEW. I'm sure, even like guys like Nick Wayne. You got Nick Wayne out there.
man, yeah.
I'm sure that
And
was an honor. Like showing those off, you definitely probably could make that happen today.
just wait until Nick. I got more with Nick Wayne. In the art in the I guess we could say archive for now. But there's more in the file that hasn't been posted. There's a lot. There's a lot. Every time I shoot with people, there's way more than what you think. Like photo wise, there's way
Definitely.
more. I don't like to post everything all at once. I don't like to show my cards all at once. I like to like even it out. But sometimes these wrestlers just jump the gun and just post one every single day. But
They
I'm
ain't
not
saving
mad at I'm not
nothing.
but I'm not mad at it because it does like bring the eyes onto me too.
Yes.
Um but as far as like wrestling goes, because I know I'm starting to get a little off topic. We can talk about the AEW stuff in a moment
You're good.
because it goes in the timeline a little bit.
I feel you.
Because so 2022 was around the time when I started to feel like my work was starting to feel stale because I just feel like all I'm doing is just shooting like these pretty girls, these beautiful women or whatever, but it just feels like it's lacking substance. And I was starting to get bored, to be honest. I was just me personally. I'm very religious or whatever. And I always I'm like God, if there's a way where I could just rejuvenate my career, show me. So fast forward just a little bit after this, a friend of mine, who we all know here in Chicago by the name of Missa Kate, um,
Chicago sweetheart.
Chicago sweetheart, man, gotta love her, right? Until you know her. No, I'm kidding. Um, no, first of all, I want to shout her out because she is the person who found me, um, just randomly. At that time, I thought maybe I should do something with sports, right? Let me see if I could get into any basketball games or because I know people within different fields of photography and all that stuff that I could pull some strings. But again, I didn't think of wrestling. I was like, well, let's just see. Let's just keep looking out there. I get a random DM, and I don't normally like getting DMs from people I don't follow because it's like, what are you trying to send me? But I was like, let me look at this because I see the word wrestling, or whatever, right? Miss Kate, Chicago sweetheart, like I said, found me. He sends me a message and one wanted to see if I wanted to take photos of her and another wrestler who I will name in a second, another wrestler who are doing their training in the morning. He's like, listen, I don't I don't have money to pay you or whatever, but if you're down, I am just open if you want to come take photos. And I'm like, God, if this is it, I'm gonna go do it. So I say, yeah, let's do this or whatever, right? Like me, I'm the type of person, and I will say this: if you love doing something, do it regardless of payment or not, because the money comes afterwards.
100%.
The money will come afterwards, especially because you love it and you're doing it to the fullest, and people are seeing that they want to pay for that experience.
Exactly.
Don't chase the money, let the money chase you. That's what I'm gonna leave with these kids right here.
I love it.
But okay, so again, I took it. I'm like, it doesn't matter to me. I'll do it regardless, right? The wrestler she's also training with, like doing like a quick training session with my other friend Sky Blue, and that's where I met Sky as well. So I remember this clear as day. It was a cold, rainy day early in the morning. Early in the morning. And we were where Galley Lucha has their like rings and all that stuff. If I'm correct, I do believe it's Galley who owns it. Um, and I just remember meeting them, and it was cold. It was rainy. We were wet, and around that time too, I won't lie, and I've told her this before. When I met Sky, I didn't think she fucked with me only because it's like early in the morning. I remember her saying she was hungry, and it's cold and we're wet and all that before we got to the building and all that. So I was like, I know when to like just not be a nuisance and like if someone's like in a bad attitude, I'm not gonna like bug them or whatever.
Nah, you're gonna stand back.
Stand back. But me though, knowing myself, I also like to have a conversation when I'm shooting, especially new people that I've never shot with before, just to get to know them.
Comfortability.
Right. But the funny part was they weren't looking for somebody who watches wrestling.
Oh,
Or Missa didn't know that I'm a wrestling fan.
okay.
And what happened was they were doing like their stretches or whatever. I'm setting up my stuff. And as I'm talking to them, I'm asking them wrestling related questions, like in terms of like, oh, do you like working babyface or heel or whatever? And when they heard me talking wrestling terms, they kind of had this look to them like this to each other. And I'm like, oh, was I not supposed to say anything? I don't know. But they went along. But Missa admitted to me that they weren't looking for a wrestling fan. And she admitted to me like long down the line though that they didn't want like a wrestling fan because obviously in now seeing this firsthand, we all know how wrestling fans are. These marks.
It's rough.
So and I totally get it. I totally get it. And I don't think they were they were never in the wrong for that. I think they were smart. It's just that Missa didn't do her research. However, it ended up working out for them because I guess you could say I'm one of the good ones. Um, no, but I just remember after that, months go by. I didn't hear from them at all. I mean, they other than besides that they loved the photos, but I didn't hear from them at all because I'm like, damn, I think I fucked it up. I'm like, great, that's great, but whatever. It wasn't until Christmas time around there where I get invited again, and this time it's a trio and this is where I also meet JC for the first time too with another photographer. I don't remember his name, and I feel awful for not remembering his name, but I've only interacted with him once. But this is where I shot Missa, Sky, and another Chicago wrestler, Shelly Benson. Again, one of my closest friends in the industry. Um, and this is where I met JC for the first time. And it was kind of like a collaboration where three photographers working with three wrestlers. Just let's pump out as much content, whatever, right? After that, I just remember because at the time I do believe Sky was like doing like before she was officially contracted to AEW, it was more like almost like a hand. I don't want to put words in the mouth, but it does. I guess you could call it like a handshake agreement. Like, yeah, come wrestle for us or whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know. Not gonna speak too much for her. I feel like I'll fuck it up just saying it. But I just remember she had like a thing going on with AEW or whatever, so she wasn't around as much or whatever. I just remember after the Christmas shoot, after sending the photos to Shelly, she she fell in love with my work. And if you go down through all my photos or whatever, you're gonna see a Shelly photo pop up like every other row or
You
whatever.
probably got more Shelly photos than anything else.
Than anybody, her and Mitsa are tied for the amount of photo shoots or like the amount of people I've worked with the most. For sure, them two. Those two are like near and dear to my heart. I love them both. They take care of me very well, and I feel like I take care of them too. That's up for them to say, but I do feel like I live up to our friendship. Um, and all three of those girls do mean a lot to me. Missa, Shelly, and Sky. The reason why, like I said, for Missa is because she discovered me. She brought me into wrestling. Um, Shelly because she gives me way too much to work with, like a lot of opportunities to just keep growing as a photographer. We have so much content together that it's just I have like so much. It's unbearable to know how much we have, but it's a lot. And she has like a big following too, and she definitely like put my name out there that a couple more wrestlers started to follow me and all that stuff. And then Sky, I credit for putting me on with the AEW locker room because I worked with her like less than a handful of times for sure. Whether they were solo, but I also remember her like having the idea of like, hey, let's do a big shoot with like I do believe around All In Chicago. She brought this is when I first met Chris Statlander, Willow, Ruby Soho, Aubrey Edwards, Harley Cameron. Yeah, all at
She
the same
brought the
time.
crew.
She
No pun
brought
intended.
the crew around that time. Um, it was crazy. And me and JC did that together, and that's when I started to like talk more to JC because I'm like, I really do like JC. Him to me is like one of my best friends in this industry for sure. Like we butt heads a lot, but like honestly, it's like the type of friendship that have lasted forever. Even though we've been friends since 2023, which has only been 2 years.
It's like a brotherly thing.
Yeah, it just
I get
feels
it.
like a forever, it's been a forever thing a long time ago, but it really hasn't in reality.
I feel you.
Um, but I do remember like shooting with those girls like from AEW, how they really lit up looking at my photo. I remember sending a text to Sky one day, just giving them a little teaser of each of their photo. I sent her one photo of each girl and herself, and I'm like, just know the photos are coming along the way, but I wanted y'all to get a little taste of what they look like. She told me how they lit up and were ecstatic about it. That made me feel so happy, man. Because to me, I take my job seriously. I take my professionalism serious above anything else. Because I know the type of reputation that photographers get or any cameraman gets or whatever, especially if you're a guy working with like a female. And it sucks that it's like that, because and I've seen it within numerous fields of photography, whether fashion, sports, hip hop, whatever. People just take advantage of these women and their bodies and all that stuff. I take it serious. I just want people to feel safe around me, guy or girl, especially the women, because I just want to have fun. I want everybody to look good and professional and all that stuff. And let's just have a good time. It shouldn't be like this, oh, like, do I gotta watch my back? And I get it. I've had it, I've had people like, tell me like they felt like they had to watch their backs when it came to me for the first time.
Yeah.
But I get told a lot, like, you made me feel safe at the end of the day, and I appreciate that. And that to me is like the biggest compliment anybody could give me, because again, I grew up like around women, and obviously I have my dad, but I grew up like around women, like my mom, like all my aunts, who are like all basically second mothers to me at the same time too. To me, I just want to make sure that everybody's safe at the end of the day. We all get home safe. We all had a good time. We all look good. That's what's important to me. So I was happy to hear that from Sky too, that they all felt very like happy and comfortable with me and all that. Because I don't force nobody to do photos that they don't want to do. Like I'll throw an idea if they're asking for it, but they're allowed to tell me like let's not do that or let's change it because again, not gonna force you to do anything you don't want to do. I'm just throwing ideas at the end of the day. But after that, man, I just remember like getting so many eyes from like wrestling fans and professional wrestlers and even wrestlers from oh look it's bigger now.
Yeah.
Even professional wrestlers in AEW who that's when like people like Layla Gray from AEW started following me, Red Velvet, so on and so forth. Just so many people having their eyes on me. I was very thankful for the opportunity with Sky. And like I said, we don't work as much as we used to or whatever. I mean, like we only have like a small handful amount, but she knows like anytime she needs it, right, a call away to just go work again. Um,
Badass.
I do remember after that, I get another big break. So 2023 and 2024 have been like wow, like big years for me in terms of like working with wrestlers, right? Because straight after the AEW shoot, maybe about a month after, I get a message. So I'm working with Missa and Shelly on a shoot, right? And after the shoot ends, we say our goodbyes, our hugs, and all that stuff. I get in the car and I'm about to start it up so I can go home because I'm like up north in Chicago. I live in the south suburbs, so it's always a drive for me to get up there and all that stuff. But I mean, I do it for the love of the sport, right? Um, I get in the car. I get a message from one of my personal favorite wrestlers, Mustafa Ali.
Ooh.
Mustafa Ali hits me up, and this is around the time when he got let go by WWE. And I was like, he wanted to hit me up for photos. I have my little mark moment, so I'm like, 'cause at first, and I do remember looking at the message, right? I ignored the message first until it hit me like maybe 2 minutes after. I'm like, wait, because I thought it was a wrestling fan page or whatever of his. And I'm like, wait, I don't follow fan pages. So then I check my DMs, it's him. And he hits me up, he wants to work. Said that people recommended me to go work with. And I was like, are you fucking serious? So I remember again, I'm about like 40 minutes away from my house. I text him back, I'm like, hey man, I'm currently driving at the moment. Can I get you back in like 40 minutes? I'm like so sorry, but traffic is kind of like hectic. He's like, yeah, man, drive safe and all that stuff. I needed that moment to be like, oh my God, like I'm like kind of freaking out. I can't think straight a little bit. I'm like, what am I gonna say? But then I'm like, okay, let me just as I'm driving, I'm like thinking, okay, gotta put on my professionalism, gotta like talk to him serious business and all that stuff. So I'm thinking in my head, how do I do the conversation? And it worked out perfectly. We got the details, the location, the pricing, and all that stuff, right? And I just remember I'm like, oh my God, this is for real. It was so unreal to me that I just remember like during that time before I met him, I'm like, is he still following me? Yes, he's still following me. I was like, dude, he's my favorite wrestler currently, like one of my favorites of this current time. And I'm always like biased with Chicago wrestlers. I just support with Chicago
You
wrestling.
got to.
Got to. And I just thought, man, WWE might have dropped the ball with him, honestly. They definitely did, in my opinion. But I
100%.
not neither here nor there, not against nobody. But I just remember like when I got to the location, I always every time I go shoot, I always like to show up earlier than my clients or whatever because I just want to set up, want to get in the right headspace, plan out like where I want to shoot in within that space and all that stuff. He shows up in a very nice big car. Like he texted me, he's like, "Hey, I'm outside," and the studio, which is closed now, unfortunately, the studio um had like this big garage that had like this big neon light tunnel or whatever. And it's used mainly for like music videos or whatever. But I got permission to like, hey, the client that I have wants to bring like this nice big car for like videos and photos. Is that okay? And me, I was cool with the person who owns the studio, so they're like, hell yeah, man, let him. So like, bet, let's do this. When he shows up, the windows are tinted, so I still don't see him until he opens the car. And then as soon as he opens the door, chill shot up my arm. Good thing I had a jacket, or you could visibly see like my arms and all
The
that.
goosebumps.
The goosebumps, man. The goosebumps shot up so big. Um, but I just remember like the first, and I told them this too. I told them this. I remember when he stepped out. Obviously, when you see people on TV, they're like bigger in person, right? When I saw him, I'm like, we're about the same height. I
That's
just
great.
remember that, but I'm like, oh my God. And Waze, he's like, Ricky, and I'm like, yeah, that's me. Nice to meet you, man, and all that. He's like, Nice to meet you too, and all that stuff. And then we go down, run down about the shoot. And I'm just thinking, dude, like I forgot that I'm a fan for a second. Actually, no, the whole time when I get into work, I forget about the fan part. I gotta be, it's work. Work first, fan later.
Exactly.
But and I didn't realize, oh my God, I got in the zone like that. That we're like, I was telling him like that wall, let's shoot this, that there, that wall over here, all this stuff. I'm like, what else do you have? That's perfect. Let's shoot that over there and all that stuff. I just was like, I remember, and this is when like he did the video, shot the video after being released, right? Because he also brought on a videographer, who's great by the way. Um, and I just remember like working on set with this. Like I'm meeting some of the local Chicago wrestlers too, who I still have yet to meet one to one, but a lot of them just remember that day and we're like, dude, remember when we shot with Ali, like how we met and all? I'm like, yeah, like that's crazy. And now these guys and girls are just wonderful people who treat me good every time I shoot them. It's always great to see people that, especially from like that video shoot, that will never go away for me for as long as I live. Like because I just remember like having like this one moment. It's just me and him in the studio because I'm cleaning up too, and he's picking up his stuff. I just remember he was so nice to me. We took a photo and I just remember telling him like, hey man, look, I don't do like this whole like getting to give people their flowers or whatever, especially people that because I told him I genuinely am a fan of you, like you're one of my favorites currently right now. Just wanted to say this means the absolute world for me. Even if you didn't, I told them you didn't have to pay me. Just this opportunity alone for me, this means a lot to me. And he's like, well, first of all, you're talented. I'm not gonna not pay you or whatever and all that. And he's like, hey man, you were recommended. He said he doesn't remember who recommended him to me or recommended me to him or whatever. I feel like he's bullshitting. He doesn't like oh revealing or whatever. But I'm like,
Yeah.
come on, man. It's a recent thing. You just got let go like a month ago. Who told you about me?
Somebody had to have said something.
I know, but I tried asking around too. I'm like, was it you or whatever? But nobody confessed, and I honestly, if I knew who it is today, I'm gonna give him a gift. I just wish I would know who it is.
Who do you think it was?
But honestly, I can't. I don't know. I wouldn't. I couldn't tell you, and that sucks because I genuinely do want to show gratitude, especially for opportunities like that. Um, but we had a moment. We dabbed up. We said our goodbyes. I just remember getting home in tears because I'm like, this this means the world to me. Forget this being a big opportunity for my career. Personally, on a personal level, I felt like I achieved something really high up there that now, and I've joked with him, I'm like, hey, you technically are under WWE. I'm going to say you're my first WWE person I worked with. I don't care that you got let go. You have the 90-day non-compete clause. That still
Yep.
counts to me.
That's amazing.
Or uh, just remember the video dropping and then me dropping the photos. Wow, like the amount of like, first of all, when I first sent him the photos, he loved like all the compliments he gave me. I was still in awe. I'm like, I can't believe someone that I watch and someone that I think is super talented should have been a champion in the company. Whatever. I don't care. Don't care. They dropped the ball with him, in my opinion.
Yep.
But I personally just I can't believe it. This is so real. I work with somebody in WWE. I can say that, and that means a lot to me, considering the fact that he chose me to work with, who he's never met. I know he has like people in the industry within wrestling who are videographers or photographers or whatever that could have done the job too. But he chose me. So like the first person to work with like out like being released from WWE, I viewed it more like that and I'm like thank you, God, for what you're putting me up to. I feel like you're setting me up for success because I have those photos pinned on my Instagram for a reason, for two reasons. One, because they mean the absolute most to me. Out of a lot of, it's arguably one of the most important photos that I've ever taken within my career. That I will never unpost that. He would have to be like the most shittiest person ever for me to do that. And even then, I don't know if I do it, but that means the most to me. Like I won't get rid of those photos ever. Like I have too many of those photos like autographed from him too, because every time I've ever seen him at like a show or whatever, he's like, here, let me give you something. Signs a photo that I took, and I'm like, brother, I got 5 of these now. I'm good.
That's amazing.
But he's a real. If anything, really great guy. Like if anybody has the opportunity to speak to him or just have a little couple moments with him, honestly,
Thank
a
you.
really great person. Really great person. He takes care of you as long as you're respectful. He's just one of those people who's to themselves, but he's just a great person, like a really great person. Um, and like I said, when those photos, the second reason why I have those photos pinned too is also because I was like, okay, this has legitimacy to my name now.
Mhm.
Like I just worked with someone who just got recently released by WWE. If I'm good enough to work with that person, I'm good enough to work with anybody. So then a lot of wrestlers that I work with, like as of recently too, like whether that be like one of my favorites right now, Luke Curtis, who's married to another friend of mine from AEW, Layla Gray,
Mhm.
um, told me straight up, he like, when I saw the Ali photos, I had to work with you, bro. And I get similar comments like that, like, oh, like I saw the Ali photos, like I gotta work with you and all that stuff. Like you're legit. Because everybody knows Ali doesn't like the bullshit or anything or waste time. So if he worked with you, you're legit. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like knowing that he just doesn't like bullshitting anything. Like that's just him, and I take that with high honor and value. That yeah, I get that often too. That oh, because of the Ali photos, yeah, I had to work with you and all that stuff, or I just knew like you be different or whatever. And I love it. I absolutely love it. It is great. Oh, and speaking of which, the day I got a message from Mustafa Ali, I also got a message from a former WWE star at the same time too. So I had two now former wrestling stars who hit me up. One of them being Mustafa Ali, but the other one didn't. I didn't get to work with him yet. But that being Maria Kanellis. 10 minutes
Yeah.
after I get a message from Mustafa Ali, I get a message from Maria Kanellis. I said,
What the
I'm
hell is
freaking
going
out. I'm like, what the hell is in
on?
the air? I thought a third person. I legit thought, I was like, is there a third person?
Who's next?
Who's next? Who's next? Who's next? I was on a high that day for sure. Unfortunately, I haven't worked with Maria Kanellis. I would love to. We've talked here and there, but she's going through so much, and I just respect her time. And I know she's enjoying just being a mother, obviously. So, kudos to her. If I don't get to work with her, I just know it's because of her reasons, and I'm okay with that. It's just the fact that she got to reach out to me means a lot to me. That she wants to work with me, that means a lot to
Absolutely. You just reminded me. I've been fortunate to kind of have two situations a little similar.
me. Hmm.
Whenever I first started doing the podcast, I didn't really know how to go about meeting people or anything. So I mean, the instinct is just to message people. And like in my first month, I just sent out so many just random messages from every walks of professional wrestling. And I remember one night I DM'd Sabu on Instagram. I wasn't even for sure if it was a real Sabu account. Like I just messaged it and I didn't think nothing of it. And it was funny because at like 10:30 at night, he messaged back and he's like, "Yeah, let's do it. X amount of dollars, blah blah blah." And I didn't think it was real. Like I'm in bed laying down, and I literally like take my moment, mark out, call my dad, and like, Dad, like blah blah blah. Sabu just messaged me. There's no way. By this time, I'd only done like 15, 16 podcasts even. Um, so it was kind of crazy. But no, I called my dad and he's like, yeah, do it, blah blah blah. And he was like, I'll send you the money because like I didn't have it at the time. And
Right.
Sabu immediately
Sound
that
like a
night,
dad.
he was like, it's 11:30 at night here. I don't know where Sabu was at, but he's like, I got to get on a flight in an hour. Can we do it now? I'm like, oh shit. Like, yeah, of course. So no preparation, no nothing. Didn't need time to get questions ready. Like, obviously, like I know about Sabu's career, what he's done, but still, like, so nervous. It was definitely like my first big interview too. Like I said, 15 interviews in, it's pretty much all independent talent. Not saying there's not big things about independent talent, but this is ECW legend Sabu we're talking about. So like just
Oh,
completely threw me off. Did the interview. It was what it was. It's one of those things that at the time I didn't think it was as good as it was. And after his passing, rest in peace, Sabu. It's one of those
rest in
things
peace.
I'll always cherish because like Sabu might I don't want to speak ill of the dead at all, but he might have been difficult to deal with, but he did it still. So it's something that meant a lot to me, I guess. And it was like the first guy I talked to was like, hey, I got an action figure of this guy. Or I've played this guy in a video game. Or
Yeah.
it was just badass. And then the second one was tricky because I had I'd thrown out there I was working with some agents at the time trying to book talent, trying to up the game a little bit.
Hmm.
And I threw out the name Marty Skrull to a couple people because Marty
Okay.
was big once upon a time. He had his troubles in the early 2020s, but I was like, I heard about the situation. And I was like, maybe we could shed a brighter light on Marty because, like, maybe Marty got a raw into the deal. And I was a huge villain fan. Like, I had every Villain Club T-shirt at Hot Topic. Um,
Oh man, what a time to go to Hot Topic and pick up
exact.
a new
I had
club T-shirt.
every Bullet Club T-shirt, damn near known to man.
I don't have them anymore,
I
but
don't either.
I only have my Kenny Omega one left because Kenny Omega is just one of those wrestlers. Holy moly, just
That's a
so
podcast on its own. Is Bullet Club and
I
Kenny Omega? It's doing it again.
hello.
We're back.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. Again,
You're
I do
good.
plan on getting different headphones. Whatever it is, what it is. But no, I like I was saying, that's one I do wish upon you. I hope you get that interview because I
No,
mean,
I got Marty actually. It was
no,
crazy.
because you said you wanted to do Kenny, no?
Oh, Kenny. Yes. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, no, but um, no, man. First of all, what a time to just go to Hot Topic and get a new club shirt, right?
Insane. Like
Now they don't
the
like
Funko Pops. The
the
Funko Pops
Funko
were
Pops.
badass.
You know what? I would even go as far as to say that like the Bullet Club around that time was definitely making WWE and be like, all right, let's try to invade Hot Topic because you would see a new like the New Day, you would see Becky Lynch T-shirt, Seth Rollins T-shirt. Now you don't even see no wrestling T-shirts in
No,
well, they're like online exclusive nowadays. I know they got like the
you'll
real rip, but
find
they
it.
don't got like
You'll
everybody's
find one
T-shirt.
or two here and there, maybe.
But it
But
ain't what it
like,
used to be. I mean, they have their own
there's a
little
whole
war.
section.
They had their own little hot topic war. I loved it. I was like, hey, give me all of them at that point.
Exactly.
Oh man,
Man.
I just remember like one of honestly, I will say Bullet Club to me was one of the biggest factions of all time. Um, I
They were
love
just
Bullet
so
Club.
cool. They were just so
Mm,
cool.
man, man, especially when AJ Styles came in to me. Holy crap! Because I'm a big AJ Styles fan. I'm a big Styles fan. Like huge, one of my all-time favorites. The way I discovered him too was funny, right? I have a story about that because again, me being a kid, didn't know that there was anything else other than WWE. I remember my mom being so nice because we had good grades at the time that we earned a wrestling toy. I have a brother, and I have.
Okay.
Um, I just remember. So I got a Batista action
Mhm.
figure. My brother got a TNA wrestling action figure. Who got a TNA? I can't remember who. For the life of me, I cannot. And it's pissing me off that I can't remember. But I just remember looking at the box. Me and my brother are looking at the box like, this isn't WWE. What is this? And so
What
then
is
that's
this
when we got,
strange?
who is this? Fuck, it's pissing me. Was it Petey Williams?
A Petey Williams action figure would be badass. That's
It
one I've always
was.
wanted.
Oh my god! Now I remember. My brother got a Petey Williams action figure. That was one of the most, and I
That's
thought it was low key better.
amazing.
I thought it was better than my Batista one. I'm not gonna lie. I thought like that. It was really good quality action figure too.
They were back in the day.
Oh my god!
The
Immaculate.
Hasbro ones were fire.
Yes, yes, they
I,
were. Oh my god. Okay, so thank you for reminding me now. Okay, so yes. I just remember looking at the box. I'm like, what is this? Who are these guys? They're not on WWE. And I'm a kid. So then I just do my due diligence, go on the internet. I'm like, what is TNA wrestling or whatever? Glad I found it. Found the channel. Became an AJ Styles fan instantly.
That's
Love
amazing.
it. I don't have too much memories watching too much TNA. Just because I'm like, that's so much wrestling for me as a kid. But I try to keep up as much as I could, and I grew to love it. I love what TNA is still around. Um, and I love TNA right now.
It's so
And I
cool. It's
love their
back.
partnership. Man, I feel like they've rejuvenated for sure. And I love the product now. And it's not like I never not liked it, but it's had its moments. Um, but I love the partnership that they got going on with WWE. Personally, I think that's one of the biggest moments in wrestling history right now. The fact that we got WWE working with
It's
working with
insane.
TNA. What a time, right? Just what a time to love wrestling for sure.
Well, it's crazy for me because I've been lucky enough to actually do two interviews with TNA stars. I had Mike Santana on and I had AJ
Nice.
Francis on. And
Okay.
um for one, getting approved to be on like their media list and just to be able to get TNA announcements and opportunities to do interviews with their guys has been it's kind of like the first stamp of approval I've really got inside the media outlet, I guess, to say for lack of better terms, and just being able to see them grow and to maybe have the potential to grow with them is
No, for
exciting
sure.
because
That's
so far they've given me my two biggest interviews. Like I had Santana on, it got almost 24,000 views. I think it's at 23 something. And then AJ Francis came out like last week or the week before. I'm probably butchering that, but it's already at like 16,000 views, which is insane. So like just seeing them grow and having the potential to grow with them is very exciting.
Hey man, they're first of all, congratulations on that. That's huge. I applaud that. That's awesome. Um,
Thank
and
you.
second, I definitely they feel like the up like obviously they've been wrestling for a while, right? So I don't want to call them like the breakout stars like that, but they definitely like give up so much like juice to the new regimen of TNA that it's just exciting to watch it.
It's like when you find an old toy and you dust it off for the first time and all. Well, like let's say you brought out the Nintendo 64 and played No Mercy again. It'd be like
Yeah,
that.
man.
Like you it'd be like, okay, what's old is new again. And
No,
it's
in all honesty,
bigger and
I'm
better.
waiting. I'm honestly in a little thing. I'm honestly waiting until I ever meet Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's the one I play the most on this game. I gotta get him the autograph
He's
fit.
got to sign it.
Like, not I got Stone Cold merch, but this one is the one I need him to sign.
Speaking of merch, you wear the most badass wrestling t-shirts. Every time I see you, it's the shirts. Where do you
Hey,
get those?
oh man. Okay, so look, personally, I think this is the only negative thing I will say on this thing. Hopefully, um, but I think wrestling merch from like WWE and even AEW kind of sucks. Like it's just I mean, they're good enough to just wear as pajamas or whatever, but I like the shirts I wear to like, because I love street fashion. I love the cargo pants, a little bit of the baggy jeans. I love my sneakers or whatever. So and the fact that I can combine my now those wrestling t-shirts that you see and some of the fans see me post or whatever, like combine it with, because I'm a big sneakerhead. Big. I got so many sneakers that I just love combining the streetwear element to it. And I don't think I could do that with WWE merch or whatever because it's just like a logo or a catchphrase plastered onto a t-shirt. It's cool, just for like exercising, gym clothes. That's what I would use. That's what I use those for, just like gym clothes or whatever, or like just like sleeping in. Where I get those, honestly, because I get ads on Instagram from third-party t-shirt sellers that I'm quick to look at it. I know some people are like, oh, I've been skeptical of it or whatever. If you think my t-shirts are fire, go ahead and go onto one of those. Like, just take a look. I've had conversations with these companies too who make the t-shirts. I'm like, listen, I'm a photographer. Let me make you like a dope shoot or a commercial, whatever, with my group. Let's do something. Some people are still discussing with me, so hopefully, fingers crossed, I get like a deal to do something because I just love the t-shirts. I really do.
That'd be
Um,
amazing.
a lot of people love the ones that I wear of Rhea Ripley. I'm a big Rhea fan, big mommy fan. uh, um, but those were some of my most badass ones. I got this really dope Tiffany Stratton shirt. That one to me is one of my favorites because it's baggy. It got served with the championship and it looks vintagey in a way. Um, I got a really dope Eddie Guerrero t-shirt. I got a really dope Rey Mysterio one. I got my favorite one is of the tribal chief too, because it's just his head, like big and all, but it looks really nice on a t-shirt.
Okay.
But yeah, if any wrestling fans get like third party ads on Instagram and it's like showing like wrestler, take a look. Honestly, just take a look.
Okay. Uh, Something else I've been interested in learning is how'd you get involved with CSW?
Oh, well, I'll say this. So I've been going to CSW because of Miss and Shelley. They would just put me on their guest list or just give me a free ticket or whatever every month. And I was like, well, fuck it, let me practice shooting photos from the fan point of view. And the wrestlers started to really love that. I started talking to them more and all that stuff. Um, and CSW was looking for a new photographer at the time. They got me first. Um, but they gave the opportunity to JC because JC has been was more long times with them first before I came. So I was still new, but I still offer my services because I was like, listen, I know you guys are paying JC, but I don't mind just coming every month for free. I already come for free anyways to the month because I just shoot ringside. They're like, of course, or whatever. I mean, they're not spending money on me at the time. Well, now JC is no longer the photographer. He shoots at Freelance. He has other stuff going on. Um, and I just got for the position to be, the paid photographer, and I love it. I love the talent there. I love the people we bring on board to, wrestle with our roster. To me, CSW is a place that's given me an opportunity to just keep honing in my ringside skills. Because to me, I still don't think I'm that good ringside wise. I feel like I could do really good, but I could be better. I've seen other like people who do ringside photography, and I'm just more inspired by them. That and they give me compliments, but in all honesty, I think their work is better than mine as far as ringside goes. Because my strong suit is studio work, studio photographer here. But then, what made me start to get better is that I thought of this like back when I used to shoot concerts. I'm like, well, this is no different than when I used to shoot concerts because it's lights, people running back and forth and all that stuff. It's action. I used to do that. So, like, okay, let me get in that headspace. And that's how I feel like I started to get better ringside.
Okay. Um, Last question. What are like I usually ask this for the wrestlers, but I'm interested in what you'll say. What are your goals as far as photography goes?
Man, that question, right?
Kind of deep.
It's because I have multiple goals.
Okay.
You know, you can't just have more than one, in my opinion. Especially if you're passionate about something, your career could go in so many different ways. So I'll list them off. One of the ones I want to do is get signed by whatever company wants me, right? And I mean like a TNA, AEW. I'm not biased. I'm a fan of wrestling, not just one company. Let's get that straight. Um, but I would love to get signed for sure because I want to be able to work a little bit more intimate with some of these bigger names for sure. Because I feel like I've earned that and I feel like I'm good enough to just do that. And like I said, when it comes to photo shoots, I like making people look like stars the way I see them look like stars. So and studio work is fun. Everybody gets to be creative. Another goal of mine is to keep growing the crew. You know, my crew with Arnley, JC, and Martin, because to me, this has been something that we came up with because we're all passionate about what we do for wrestling. We love the sport and we want to take care of these guys and girls, you know, make sure that they get really great product at the end of the day that they normally wouldn't get. Because, you know, you see some of these wrestlers maybe cut a promo on their like phone, and that's good. I mean, record what you got. Never knocking that, but I'm just saying more like, you know, you guys got us. Let's help you. Let's cut something better, something that's gonna get more views, something that's gonna make people be like, "What's going on over there?" You know. Um, Another goal of mine, obviously the Mercedes Monet one. Um, Forever a goal of mine that I'm gonna keep chasing until I get it, and I know I'm gonna get it. God, all my friends in the AEW at that point, they know. Like I said, I wink to them about it. You know.
You'll get there.
Uh, um. Okay, so one of my goals is to hopefully teach other photographers who want to get into pro wrestling, like proper etiquette and all that stuff, and just like how to hone your craft. Because I'm always up for helping people who want to better themselves in like photography and all that stuff. Like I don't gatekeep. I will show you how it's done. Um, because one, I'm confident that one, I'm good that I don't feel threatened by anybody taking my spot per se. But I like good competition too. So let me build my competition, right? But at the same time too, I want people to be just better for themselves. You know, if this is something you want to do, like I have no problem showing you what are do's and don'ts, how to get correct lighting, edits, whatever. I do not gatekeep. I honestly will help whoever wants to be helped, but only if I feel like they want to be helped, not just because they're bullshitting my time. Because I don't like wasting my time either. Um, Last thing I just want to say, last goal of mine with what I'm doing in wrestling, I just hope that it continues to make people happy. I'm not just talking about the wrestlers either. I get so many like compliments from the fans too, like a lot. Cause like I said earlier to you that I don't like attention. I never grew up liking attention. I was always introverted. But I'm starting to appreciate it more as time goes on because I realize people are seeing my work. They love my work. And I have to show appreciation to that because, you know, these are people who are going out of their time, resharing my stuff or purchasing the photos from other wrestlers. I've been told so many times from, from fans, they're like, "That's your photo, right? Bro, I just bought like five of those from her and got them signed and all this stuff." That fills my heart, man, because it's like, you know, obviously they're not buying it from me, but like I got paid to do the photos. It's never like I said about the money, but I just feel like wow, like people really want like my stuff hung on their walls and all that stuff. It may be because of the wrestler too, but they said they prefer my photos over some other, and that's not to knock nobody. I'm not knocking nobody else's work, but when they tell me that, it does something. It just makes me feel very full of like joy and love because I know that they didn't have to do that. They didn't have to spend their however amount of money to go buy that photo. They didn't have to come and support. They didn't have to come and get a signature off of it. They didn't have to come and tell me, "Hey, I bought it because of it was your photo or whatever." They have no reason to be loyal to me, and yet they are. And I just want to continue making people happy with what I do. I want people to just feel inspired in a way. I don't feel like I'm a a role model per se. But if I can inspire someone to just be better for themselves and just chase a dream, because I view myself as just this guy from Chicago who grew up with basically nothing, shady area. I had all the reasons to just be in a much worse place. I didn't let anything affect me in that way. If I turned all my negatives into positives, like me, like I said, going a little suicidal and all that stuff. If if I had done that, where I am now would not exist. And I don't know if the lives I've touched or whatever would be in a good place. Like I said, I don't consider myself a role model, but if you were inspired by me, honestly, thank you. It means like the absolute most. I don't take any of that for granted.
I love it. Ricky, thank you so much for joining me. I've enjoyed the conversation. We've been rolling for about 2 hours now. I'm gonna
Told you
leave
I'm
it
a
open.
talker.
We'll do a part two for sure.
Oh
Um,
man, that
I,
time I expect a question about my red boots because I get asked that a lot.
I you know what? I was that was the one question I did have that I forgot to ask. Before we
I,
go, let's learn about the red boots.
okay, I'll make it fast too because I don't want to take up too much of your time. But I'll say this: so me being a fashion guy and a sneaker guy, when I saw the red boots, because okay, first of all, people get it wrong. They call it Super Mario boots. They call it Mega Man boots. Let's get it right. Astro Boy, one of the greatest animes of like the 80s or whatever. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Okay,
Okay.
Astro Boy, one of my favorites growing up. And it was before my time, but I loved watching it though. Um, so those boots are from a brand called Mischief. It was like a kind of like a publicity stuff for these celebrities or whatever, right? And everybody calls it the Seth Rollins boots because we all know he wore it on Raw to stomp out the Miz and all that stuff. Fine, call it that if you want, but I love them because they make me feel like a cartoon character, like a comic book character. I do. And at first, I wore them as a joke because I first got them. Shout out to my rich friend from New York who sent them to me because he gave them to me. He had them. He said, "Do you want them?" I said, "Hell yeah, just give them to me, bro. I've always wanted them." Um, and to me, the red boots are just so fun. They're comfortable. First of all, yes, they are comfortable. If you go a size up, yes, they are comfortable. They are easy to take off. Just go a size up from your regular shoe. They got comfort. I feel like I could bounce high in them. And I mean, if someone were to ever just like mess with me, I could easily kick them and run away with them.
Definitely.
But the thing is, too, it started to become my gimmick. And I'm like, you know what? Work your gimmick, I guess, because the fans love it. It brings smiles to people's faces, whether they're laughing at it or they're like, "That's the." I get mixed reaction. I either get they're laughing at it like because it looks silly, or
You
some people
stick
just straight
out.
up tell that's fire. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make it my gimmick then. So now I wear the red boots before, primarily before shows. But if the ring is actually elevated where I can walk, I'll do it. But rarely. I'll do it at any other wrestling events too, though, because
I lost you. Here we go. Go ahead.
okay, so just to finish this up, because I'm about to finish. Now I feel like because I've had two AEW wrestlers wear them, and if you guys saw the photo I took with Nick, you would know that he's one of them. I can't wait to drop those photos. Honestly, I just wanted his genuine reaction. I did not convince him at all. I told him you could tell me no, and that's fine. There's gonna be a teaser video for this too, so stay on the watch out. Maybe this week. I will say though that I'm gonna start using this as like my gimmick. I'm gonna get other big name wrestlers if they want to use it, they can. That's for sure.
You've got Maggie to wear them, right? Maggie Lee.
I did get Maggie to wear them. Photos of those haven't dropped, but maybe soon. There's a lot of photos I don't drop, but
Okay.
I post them from a different time. It is what it is. But I will say this: those I will definitely be selective with who I have wear them. Not for any particular reason, but I'm like they got to be special when I do them. Obviously,
Okay.
right? That's like my brand now, apparently. So I'm gonna live it. I'm gonna live it.
I love it. Ricky, like I was saying, we'll have to get you on here for a part two. So I try to leave it off at I'll see you later, I guess.
I'll see you later, brother. I hope I see you in person too. This was really awesome. Shout out to your podcast. Shout out to you. This has been an amazing experience.
Thank you, man. I will see you at the next CSW show. But for
Yes.
now, um, everybody watching, have a good night. Thank you all for watching. Thank Ricky for joining us. Check him out on Instagram. Check the crew out on Instagram, and stay tuned for your next episode of ILW Pod.